Hello students, welcome to the second lecture of the course Elements of Discrete Mathematics. In this course we shall discuss about relation and the properties of the relation. So in relations you will study the domain and range of the relation, then there's uh, graphical representation of a relation, matrix representation of a relation, properties of the relation are there, reflexive relation, irreflexive relation, symmetric relation, anti-symmetric relation, and transitive relation. Uh, this is very basic term here, which you have already studied in your secondary classes. So here we would like to focus on certain aspects of the same thing. So generally, all of you know that what is a relation? A relation is a subset. Relation is a subset of a Cartesian product of two sets. Suppose you have two sets x and y, and their Cartesian product is x cross y. Cartesian product is x cross y. Then the relation R is a subset of x cross y. So definitely it is this relation R is subset of x cross y, and it has different representations. So for example, here we are saying that the set S and T be two sets here. A relation on S and T is a subset of S cross T, the Cartesian product of S and T. If R is a relation, then either S ordered pair ST belongs to R, or sometimes we can write the same thing, S related to T. We call it as S related to T, to indicate that this ordered pair ST is an element of the relation. Sometimes we also write it as S is related to T. Either we use this notation or this notation or this notation. All these three are equivalent notation. This means also that S related to T, this also means S related to T, and this also means S related to T, where S is an element of S and T is element of this T. I said this small s is element of set S and this small t is element of set T. So it's more clear with the help of example. You consider a set S having elements, these three elements 4, 7 and 9, and another set T having elements 3, 5, 10 and 11. So in order to define a relation, first of all, you should construct the Cartesian product of these two sets S and T. So how we construct this Cartesian product S cross T means first we pair this element 4 with each of these element 4 with 3, 4 with 5, then 4 with 10, then 4 with 11. So we write here 4 with 3, 4 with 5, 4 with 10, 4 with 11. Exactly in the same manner, we pair up this element 7 with all these elements. So again we'll get 4 elements. Then we take this 9 and pair up this 9 with all these 3 elements. So we'll get next 4 elements. In this way, this Cartesian product S cross T consists 12 ordered pairs. These are 12 ordered pairs. Now suppose we are defining the relation here in this way. On this S cross T, the relation is suppose relation is defined by this. S will be related to T, or S comma T. This ordered pair belongs to R if and only if S is less than or equal to T. So that means the element in the ordered pair S will be related to T if the first element in the ordered pair is less than or equal to T. So among these all 12 ordered pairs, we have to consider only those pairs which are satisfying this condition. So here you see in the relation that S is less than or equal to T. So here in this R, first I have written all the elements, so I will cross those elements where this S is not less than or equal to T. For example, I will cross this. This will not be in the relation. Yes, here S is less than T, 4 is less than 5. This is okay, 4 is less than equal to 10 and 4 is less than 11. Yes, here 7 is not less than or equal to the second element. So this will not be there in the relation. Exactly, this will not be there. Yes, this will, okay, this will be there. 7 less than 11, this will be there. 9 is not less than equal to 3, so it will be crossed. 9 is not less than equal to 5, so it will be crossed. Similarly here, 9 less than 10, so definitely it will be a part of relation. 9 less than 11, so this will be part of relation. So the pairs marked, like tick marked by me, will be present in the relation R. So I can write here 4, 5, 4, 10. So when you define the relation R in such a way that S ordered pair ST belongs to R, if and only if S less than equal to T, then R, this R is the relation, this set is the relation on S cross T. So this is the definition of relation and one example we have considered. Now you see the second example. Suppose you define F, the relation F, consisting the ordered pairs from R cross R. So in this case, what is happening? Basically, here, if I write it in the form as I have discussed the first example, here S will be considered as R, the set of real numbers, and T is also considered as R. Then S cross T means R cross R, and this R cross R can be written as R square. So here, instead of relation R, I am considering the relation F, and definitely this F is subset of this R square. Why? Because all the ordered pairs in this F are taken from R square. But what is the rule here? The rule here is that X, the pair XY belongs to this set F. Actually, you can see what is the rule here? The pair XY ordered pair belongs to F if and only if what is the condition given here? If Y is expressible as 1 plus X square, where X is also a real number here. So that is why we can say, in other words, that X is related to Y if and only if Y equal to this. Or simply you can write this F consists the pairs of the type X comma 1 over X square plus 1, where X is from R. These are the different representations of this relation. Now let us check here. This, for instance, this 1.5 belongs to F. Why this belongs to F? You see here X is basically X is 1 and Y is 0.5. 0.5 means you can say this is 1 by 2. Now what is the condition here? Can we write this Y? Can we write this Y as 1 over 1 plus 1 square? Because here X is 1. So now you can see this is equal to 1 over 2, that is 0.5. Yes, it is satisfying the condition. It means this pair 1 by 2 belongs to F. Other way, this 1 0 does not belongs to f. Why? Because in this situation x is equal to 1 and y is 0. Now you write here 1 y equal to 1 over 1 plus 1 square. This is 1 by 2 and 0 0.5. That means this is not equal to 0. This is not equal to 0. So because if it is this pair 1 0, if this pair belongs to f, then it should satisfy this condition. But here it is not happening. That is why I can say this pair, ordered pair, does not belongs to f. Exactly in the same manner, you can see this 1 2 does not belong to f, or you can say 1 is not related to 2. This is the notation. If I write 1 related to 2, this is the symbol. Sometimes when relation is denoted by r, then you write here 1 related to 2. And if we are denoting this set as f, then I can write this. But here 1 will not be, 1 is not related to 2, so we say that not related to. This is the notation here. Now next, example third. Again here what we are considering here, S is n and the set T is R. N is the set of natural numbers and this T is the set of real numbers. And here a relation R is defined in such a way that S is related to T, or I say this pair belongs to R if square root of the second lies in the interval s to s plus 1. For instance, 2 5 belongs to R because in this case I can say that s is 2 and t is 5. If I take now s plus 1 means here is 3, so I have to check this 2 here and here this is 3, and now I'm writing here root 5, that is root t. If I take under root of 5, definitely it will be less than 3, because the under root of what equal to 3? Under root of 9 will be equal to 3, and this is less than under root 9. So that means this is less than and greater than this. That means here this pair 2 5, this pair 2 5 is satisfying this condition. Therefore you can say this pair 2 5 belongs to R because root 5 lies between 2 and 3. Similarly, we check this 4 17 belongs to R. Why? Because under root 17 lies between 4 and 5. Because in this case again, as earlier, S means 4, S plus 1 means 5, and T means 17. So definitely under root 17 lies between 4 and 5. Why? Because if in order to exceed this value to exceed this 5, there should be more than root 25, because if you write here root 25, that will be equal to 5. Otherwise whatever value you write here in the square root, less than 25 will definitely be less than 5. So this is again satisfying this definition of the relation, that st belongs to R if s less than under root t less than s plus 1. So this 5, 4 and 17 also belongs to R. Now let's check further. 5 10 does not belongs to R, or you can say not lying in R, because under root 10 is not between 5 and 6. Okay, so that is how we can have several examples, infinite number of examples. So in order to understand the relation, I think you would be having a good understanding of the definition of relation. So now what is the domain definition here? Definition of domain and range of the relation. The domain of relation R is set S, set of all elements such that there exists some T belongs to T and ST belongs to R, and image of the relation is the set of all elements of T such that there exists some S belongs to S such that ST in this. So simply from the numerical, I'm again going back to example 1. You can see the first element here, the set of all first elements in these ordered pairs given in R forms the domain. So in this case, domain is what? Domain in this case is what? 4, 7, 9. And range is what? The second one. The second set of the second element form the range. So in this case, you can see the range is equal to range of this relation is 5, 10, 11. So you can see the same thing is written over here. Range is 5, 10, 11, and the domain is 1, 4, 7. Actually, no, this is not domain. Domain is the set of all elements. Sorry, domain is here. This one. In fact, you can see 1 is not there. This is wrong. 4, 7, 9. This is the domain, and this is the range. Again, next example, if you take S equal to set of natural number, T equal to set of natural number, define a relation R on S and T by condition ST belongs to R such that S is square less than T. So as discussed earlier, you can also understand this example. Next is a graphical representation of a relation. Graphical representation of a relation. A relation R contained in AB can be displayed graphically on a digraph. Digraph stands for the directed graph. Directed graph, which is also called a directed graph, that is written over here, represents the elements from A to B by vertices or dots. Use the directed lines, also called the directed edges, to connect the two vertices if the corresponding elements are related. This is the main thing. If the corresponding elements are related. In figure 1, we are displaying this graphical representation. This is figure 1. Figure 1. The graphical representation of this relation. We have worked in example 1. Here S is this, T is this, and as worked out in example 1, we get this relation. So we mark the edges, vertices by these dots 4, 7, 9. 3 dots should be there. 4, 7, 9. And corresponding to the set T, we have 4 dots, 5, this 3, 5, 10, and 11. Now look at the element here. 4 is related to 5. That means you can have a directed edge from 4 to 5. Again, 4 is related to 10. So you can have a directed edge from 4 to 10. Directed means here direction is being marked that it is related. Means 4 is related to 10, not 10 is related to 5. In fact, that is why this arrow is marked. Similarly, 4 to 11 here, then 7 to 10, 7 to 11, and so these are marked here 7 to 10, 7 to 11 by these purple lines, and then 9 to 10 and 9 to 11 by these green lines. So this is the graphical representation of a relation. Next come to the matrix representation of a relation. We can use a matrix representation to describe a relation. A matrix, a matrix consists of values arranged in rows and columns, and a relation R from a set A to set B can be described by M by N matrix. And in this matrix, the elements, if elements are written like this Mij, where I for row, this J denotes the index, J denotes the column. And if the entry Mij equal to 1, if Ai is related to Bj, otherwise it is 0, then such a matrix corresponding to a relation is called the incidence matrix. Again, we refer the values given in example 1. So there was S and T, and the relation are like this. So here we write elements of S here, 4, 7 and 9, and elements of T here on the top. Now look at the relation. If 4 is related to 3, the element is not here. That means 4 is not related to 3. So when 4 is not related to 3, then the entry will be like this. It means 0. Now you see 4 is related to 5. So corresponding to this entry will be 1. Again, 4 is related to 10, that is there. So entry will be 1. Further, 4 is related to 11. So that is there. So entry will be 1. Now proceed in the same manner here. 7 is not related to 3. 7, 3 is not present here. So 0. 7 is not related to 5. 7, 5 is not there in the set relation R. So 0. Now 7 is related to 10. Yes, this is there. So you write here 1. 7 is related to 11. Again, this is there. So you will write here 1. Exactly in the same manner, 9 is not related to 3. 9, 3 is not there. 9, 5 is not there. Therefore, corresponding to those, the entries will be 0 in the matrix, 0, 0. But 9, 10 is there. Definitely 9, 10 is there. And 9, 11 is also there. Corresponding to those, we have 1, 1. So this is the matrix representation of the relation. So here we have given the 3 representation of the relation in the form of a subset, which is subset of this R is definitely the subset of S cross T in the form of a subset, in the form of a matrix, and in the form of a graph. So 3 representations of a relation have been discussed here. Now the properties of the relation. A relation, if R is a relation from A to A, that means here both the sets are same. So relation R will be subset of A cross A. We say that this relation R is a relation on A. In this situation, we say that R is a relation on A. And a relation R on A is said to be reflexive if the pair AA belongs to R for all A belongs to A. In other words, you can say A is related to A for all A belongs to A. Here, it is said to be irreflexive if this pair does not belongs to R, or you can say A is not related to A for all A belongs to A. Symmetric if AB belongs to R implies BA belongs to R for all AB belongs to A. Or in other words, you can say A related to B implies B related to A for all AB belongs to A. Antisymmetric if AB belongs to R, and this is for and BA belongs to R implies A equal to B. If this condition holds, then relation is said to be antisymmetric. Intransitive if AB related to R and BC related to R belongs to BC related AB belongs to R and BC belongs to R implies AC belongs to R. Such condition is satisfied, then we say that relation R is symmetric. In other words, this can be written as if A related to B and B related to C implies A related to C for all A, B, C belongs to A. If this condition holds, then we say that R is a transitive relation. So these are the properties of the relation. Now let us look at certain other definitions, or you say example. Then empty relation is the subset phi. It is clearly irreflexive, hence not reflexive. To check the symmetry, we want to know A related to B implies B related to for all AB belongs to A. More specifically, we want to know whether AB belongs to phi implies BA belongs to phi. Since AB belongs to phi is always false, the implication is always true. Thus, the relation is symmetric. The empty relation, remember, the empty relation is always symmetric. Likewise, it is antisymmetric and transitive. This is symmetric as well as antisymmetric and transitive, because this is an empty relation. So you can say like this. Then the complete relation is the entire set A cross A is called the complete relation. Clearly, such a relation is reflexive, hence not irreflexive. It is also trivial that it is symmetric and transitive. It is not antisymmetric unless it has single element. It is not antisymmetric unless it has a single element. Then the identity relation. This identity relation consists of ordered pairs of the form AA, where A belongs to A. In other words, A related to B if and only if A equal to B. Then such a relation is called, this is the particular definition, that identity relation is what? If A related to B if and only if A equal to B. It is reflexive, hence not irreflexive. It is symmetric, antisymmetric and transitive. You can check it in view of the definitions. Next example, if you consider this relation R, consider relation R on the set A defined by this. By some rule we have written the pairs, and in this relation certain observations you can have. 2 2 does not belongs to R and 1 1 belongs to R. The relation is neither reflexive nor irreflexive. 2 3 belongs to R but 3 2 does not belongs to R, so this relation is not symmetric. For any A not equal to B, only one of the four possibilities are there. Either AB does not belongs to R, or BA does not belongs to R, AB belongs to R, or BA belongs to R can occur. So R is antisymmetric. By going through all the ordered pairs in R, we verify that this ordered pair AB belongs to R and BC belongs to R. We always have AC belongs to R. This shows that R is transitive. You can see if AB belongs to R and BC belongs to R, you look at this. AB belongs to R. For example, AB belongs to R. 2 3 belongs to R, this pair. Then 3 3, you can say this is B, and C again the same thing. So then you can say 2 3 further, again 2 3 belongs to R. Now you see 2 3 again, 2 3 belongs to R, then 3 4 belongs to R. That means 2 4 must also be there, so 2 4 is there. So you can say whenever this type of situation is happening, AB belongs to R and BC belongs to R, we are always having AC belongs to R. This shows that this relation R defined here is transitive. Therefore R is antisymmetric and transitive. It is satisfying these two properties. Next example, define the relation S on a set A according to this. This is the relation. Again, you observe the things as discussed in the last example. We conclude here that S is irreflexive and symmetric. And this is the exercise for your practice related to relations. Thank you. You can refer these books, and this book is textbook you can refer. This is available to most of the bookshops. Thank you.